There are some great games on sale this weekend on the Nintendo eShop. In today's video, we have a wide variety of genres with both single and multiplayer games from some of the best indie dev teams, and they're all under $5 while on sale. Welcome everyone, I'm JP. Thanks as always for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And with that said, we'll dive in. Alright, and we'll start with Lost in Random, which is a 3D adventure game that follows a young girl and her companion through a shadowy world ruled by an evil queen. The game offers a unique experience for players with a combination of action and adventure and card-based combat, and it should take more than 10 hours to wrap up. The visual design is one of a kind. It does bear a bit of a resemblance to something like Nightmare Before Christmas from Tim Burton. The game has a download just over 4 gigs, and right now you can pick it up for just $2.99, marked down to an all-time low, with the deal ending on the 8th. Up next we have Sea Salt, which is an ultra-retro style strategy game where we play as a dark god with the goal being to punish those who have been unfaithful. It feels like classic PC games from the 80s mixed with something like StarCraft or other RTSs that you might have played. They did a pretty good job of balancing all the different units that you can use, and it does offer a good bit of replay value. Now the main campaign itself should take about 4 to 5 hours to complete, but it is pretty challenging. It may take some time to get used to the different mechanics within the game, but it's well worth it. Right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, marked down to just $2.99. You will need a little over 2 gigs for the download, and the deal ends on the 8th. Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King is a Zelda-like single-player top-down adventure title with a download around 440 megabytes and a story that will last about 10 hours to complete. Now the world is large and explorable. The dungeons and combat feel a lot like you'd expect, with familiar-looking locations and recognizable gadgets. And of course the game knows that, so the story doesn't take itself too seriously either. If you're a fan of older 16-bit RPGs, or of course the older Zelda games, this is a must-buy in my opinion, and right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, marked down to just $3.74, with the deal ending later in the month on the 22nd. Dandara: The Trials of Fear Edition is a 2D puzzle platformer with a distinct movement mechanic that has us bouncing from surface to surface as we work through the roughly 7-hour story. It falls into the Metroidvania category, with the Trials of Fear Edition adding in 3 new areas with new bosses, new abilities, and they even gave us an all-new secret ending as well. Now the game is challenging, but it's well worth it in the end, and also they updated the game to focus more on storytelling, and right now you can pick it up again at an all-time low, marked down to just $3.74, with the deal ending again on the 8th. You'll need about 1.5 gigs for the install. Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is an 8-bit style retro beat-em-up that offers local co-op for 2 players and should take about 2 hours or so to wrap up. Now of course these games have a good bit of replay value, plus the 2-player local co-op will add a bit more excitement if you have someone to join in as you play through. If you're a fan of Kevin Smith, of course you'll feel right at home with familiar locations from his popular movies, and if you've seen Mallrats you'll definitely know what I mean. Now the game is pretty tough, so keep that in mind, but if you grew up playing NES games, it really shouldn't be too bad on you. Right now you can pick it up for just $3.74, marked down to an all-time low with the deal ending on the 8th. The download comes in at about 200 megabytes. Next we have The Swords of Ditto: Mormo's Curse, which is a top-down action RPG that gives us more than 10 hours of gameplay, but again has a ton of replay value as well. And they added in local co-op for 2 players, making this another great pickup for those that enjoy playing games on the couch with a friend or family member. One really cool feature to this one is that when you die and then respawn, a lot of what you had done in the previous life carries over and can alter your new adventure. Now the game is loaded with quests and side missions, giving us plenty to do, and it has that cute art style but can certainly be challenging at times. Right now it's on sale for just $3.74, again an all-time low with the deal ending on the 8th, and you'll need a little over 1.5 gigs for the install. Youropa is a unique single-player puzzle-style adventure game with a download around 1 gig. It features a pretty cool mechanic where you can walk around the different sections of this broken city, defying gravity and solving puzzles, but if you make a wrong move or fall off a ledge, gravity will send you plummeting into the clouds below. The main character is customizable and it can be fun to play around with for a bit, and the story is kind of left up to you to determine and work out in your head. If you're interested in this one, it's on sale at a brand new low, marked down 75% to just $374, and the deal ends on the 11th. Andro Dunos II is a single-player arcade shooter with a download around 650 megabytes, and even though the main story is only about an hour or so, it does offer plenty of replay value, of course due to the arcade nature of the game. Now this is a follow-up to a game that was released in the early 90s, and if you were a fan of the original, you'll definitely enjoy this one, but even if you never played it, it's still a great game. Another major highlight for me was the soundtrack, and the game hits all the marks for fans of the genre. Right now it's on sale for just $3.99, matching an all-time low until the 8th, and you'll need about 650 megabytes for the install.
Quake 2 is an old-school first-person shooter from the 90s that's been updated and enhanced, plus the package includes a ton of DLC as well, and it offers up to 16-player online matches, while local is limited to 4. It features full gyro motion aim support and crossplay as well, and if that wasn't enough, you get Quake 64 as an added bonus to sweeten the deal even more. This is an absolute steal right now, and you can pick it up for just $3.99, marked down to less than half price, and the deal ends on the 8th. Just keep in mind that you'll need about 3 gigs for the download. See you in the arena.
GRIS is a gorgeous 2D platformer that centers around a young girl as she navigates through the world. It has a download of around 4 gigabytes, and the story should last roughly 4 to 6 hours. Now the game is really relaxing with amazing music that just draws you in, and without having to worry about dying, you can just enjoy the story and take in the environments. There is a bit of like puzzle solving, but nothing too complicated. And right now it's on sale for just $4.24, marked down 75%, matching a previous low once again until the 8th.
RFL The Enhanced Edition is a single-player retro-style RPG with a download around 1 gig and a story that should last more than 20 hours to complete, giving this game a ton of value at the current sale price. Now this version has been enhanced with an updated battle system, new quests, and better crafting systems, plus it looks and runs a lot better as well. Now the game has a huge open world to explore with a really good story, and I think it's definitely worth checking out, especially at just $4.49. Right now it's marked down 70% and matching an all-time low, with the deal ending on the 8th. Enter the Gungeon is a twin-stick shooter with a download around 450 megabytes, and it offers dozens of hours of gameplay due to the addictive nature of the gameplay loop itself and the difficulty which hooks you in and then rewards you for getting better. The levels are designed well, with the enemies being clever plays on different gun types or ammunition, and the boss battles are amazing, sharing that same theme, culminating in a final fight that was truly epic. Now it does have a multiplayer mode, even if it is a bit limited, but the entire game can be played with a friend locally. Right now you can pick it up for just $4.49, again marked down to an all-time low, with the deal ending on the 8th. Up next we have Rampage Knights, which is a cooperative beat-em-up that offers local co-op for 2 players and features randomized dungeons, of course adding to the replay value, and it's one of those games that pushes you to get just a little further with each run. Now as you work through the dungeons, you can find upgrades to your weapons and armor, which will absolutely come in handy for the tougher fights towards the end of the game. They also reward you with unlockables such as new playable classes, so there is a sense of progression all around. It reminded me a lot of Lost Castle at first with that art style, and I think the addition of online co-op would have been a huge benefit here. As it stands though, it's still a fun game, and right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, marked down to just $4.79, with the deal ending on the 8th. You'll need a little over 200 megabytes for the install. Disc Room is an addictive top-down arcade-style puzzler with a download around 390 megabytes, and it offers about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay on average. Now in this one we play as a young scientist, and we have to make our way through a maze of booby-trapped rooms full of deadly saw blades. The controls are tight, and it never feels like deaths are cheap, plus each time you die you'll learn from it, and of course be better prepared for the next run. It's a game that keeps you hooked in. Every time you die you just want to jump right back in and try again, and right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, just $4.94, marked down nearly 70%, with the deal ending on the 8th. Gleaner Heights is a game very similar to something like Stardew Valley. You tend to your farm with dozens of different crops you can plant or different animals that you can raise, and you also have to build up relationships with the townsfolk, go on missions that'll send you into forests or dungeons, hunting down items or specific creatures, that kind of thing. The part that differs a bit are how the townsfolk have secret motives and sometimes live entirely secret lives when no one is around. There's even a bit of a horror element to the game, and I enjoyed it a lot. On top of that, they gave us different endings based on the actions that you take throughout your time playing through with the main storyline. Now there is a Season 2 DLC that you can pick up once you've beaten the game, but the original is finally on sale, marked down to half price, bringing it under that $5 mark, with the deal ending on the 8th. The download is just over 100 megabytes. The Messenger is another incredibly tough action platformer inspired by classic NES and SNES games. The unique feature here is the way the game shifts from 8-bit to 16-bit graphics. It has incredible controls, and the combat and boss battles are a lot of fun, and it does feature an all-original soundtrack that fits perfectly. Many probably don't realize, but this game is in the same universe as the hit Sea of Stars that came out last year. It has a download around 2 gigs and offers more than 10 hours of gameplay on average. Right now it's on sale for just $4.99, marked down 75%, matching an all-time low until the 8th. Valkyria Chronicles is a single-player strategy RPG from Sega. It has a pretty big download at around 7.5 gigs, but it does offer a ton of content. In fact, there are more than 30 hours of story here, and for some it's a game they'll come back to again and again. I read a review one time that said it was kind of like playing chess, but the video game equivalent, with a new scenario each time, and I think that's a pretty good way to sum it up. Now the port here is amazing, and they also include all of the DLC as well. Right now it's on sale for just $4.99, making it a great value. The deal ends again on the 8th. Alright everyone, here are a few other great deals to check out while you're already on the eShop.
Now that there's only one of us left, I thought it was...
Alright everyone, thank you as always for hanging out and checking out the video. Please take care of yourselves and have a good weekend. Enjoy some great games, have fun with some great company, and I'll see you on the next one.